It was the most bizarre episode. Back in October of 2021, I was laying on the sofa watching TV. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I just had a whirlwind of dizziness, spinning. It led to nausea. Everything I did, I tried to sit up, I tried to lay down, it wouldn't go away. I looked at my husband, I said, I think I'm having a stroke. And I started crying. It subsided a little bit, and I just laid back, and my husband came over, he said, no, this is vertigo. I've had it, I know. I recognize the symptoms. So I laid there for a little while as it subsided a little bit. It wasn't quite as dramatic and explosive. So he helped me upstairs. It was like 8 o'clock at night. So I just got in the bed and I just laid there trying to think, how am I going to get it to stop? So I was still spinning, not quite as drastic or dramatic as it was at first. So I just laid in the bed, and even when I would turn to my side, it would spin. Or if I'd lay on my back, it would spin. But eventually it calmed down. I don't know how, I don't know why. But then I was very nauseated. So I took a Zofran and just stayed in the bed, and the next day I called my internal medicine doctor. And he goes, oh yeah, this is vertigo. What you're going to want to do is look up the Epley maneuver on YouTube. Do that once or twice, and it should settle down within a couple of days. And I thought, a couple of days? Oh, I got to live with this for a couple of days. Okay, I can do it. So I did. My husband helped me do the Epley, and it was just the same flood of spinning, and especially on the left side. And it eventually subsided again, but it never went away. Never went away. So I guess a month went by, and it was pretty much constant. It wasn't as bad as the beginning, but it was there, always there. Head movements, eye movements, driving, shopping, walking, doing the laundry, loading the dishwasher, any head movement, any eye movement. It was just constant. It seemed like my brain was trying to recalibrate, but it couldn't. It couldn't find normal. This is just my simple words. I don't know any other way to say it. So, call my doctor again. I'm like, this is just not going away. I don't know what to do. Can we do an MRI? Do I have a brain tumor? You think of all these things that might be going on. So he goes, yeah, let's do an MRI. Just rule out any kind of tumor or anything. Did the MRI, it came back negative. Everything was fine. Couple more months go by, and I think, okay, I'm going to go see my ENT. I'm going to go to ear, nose, throat. Surely he can figure this out. So I go to him, and he says, well, you probably still got those little crystals. They're displaced in your ear canal. It could take 6 months to a year for this to go away. And of course, I'm just sitting there thinking, you've got to be kidding me. And I was like, is there anything I can do? No, the brain just has to work it out. So I left the office, I cried all the way home. I just couldn't believe that it was I had to keep enduring this, the same stuff, the spinning, the dizzy, the nausea, constantly. So then, a couple of months later, I called my eye doctor. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to check my eyes. Because I found myself constantly trying to, going like this, just trying to get my brain to, this is it, this is normal, find it, I did not have double vision, but it seemed to, I don't know, I thought it was helping, just trying to help my brain recalibrate. I don't know what I was doing, but it seemed to help me a little bit. So, but I was figuring out, with just a little bit of common sense, I just could not figure out how my brain was going to find its way back without help. So I go to my eye doctor. No, your vision's fine. Everything's good. Nothing's changed. So once again, cried all the way home. What am I going to do? Go to the computer. Vertigo, and I put in Vertigo help in Macon, Georgia. And this physical therapist comes up. And I kind of looked at it, looked at the website, and it said, can help with vertigo. So I'm like, okay, they can help with vertigo. So I show up, and this girl does the Epley maneuver 4 times. She does it left, she does it right. Well, when I left that office, I was so dizzy, nauseated, physically sick. I cried all the way home again and went straight to bed because my head was a mess. It was maddening what was happening. It was maddening. And I found myself staying home more and more because I just didn't want any kind of stimulation. If I was in my car, you don't realize how much you use your head and your eyes when you're in your car. But just looking left, looking right, turning left, looking up, cars going by, it was just unbearable. Just the constant sense of once again, dizziness, spinniness. Anytime I shifted my vision, it was, once again, maddening because I couldn't figure out how to fix it. So I get to my consultation, I meet Dr. Campbell, and she takes me back to her office, and she sits down, talks with me about everything. I sit on the questionnaire, asks me questions about the daily issues that I was having. And she looked at my MRI and she said, I want you to get up and come lay on my table. Just lie down on your back and let your head hang off just a little bit. And she placed her hands under my neck to support my head. But the minute I laid down, the spinning started. Just like on all the Epley maneuvers, the spinning started. But when she pressed on either side of my neck, it was the same response as the very first Vertigo episode. It was very intense. And I said, I can't do it, I gotta sit up. She helped me sit up, and about a minute later, it started to calm down. And she sat down in her chair and she looked at me. She said, I can help you. Try not to cry. She said, I know exactly what's going on. You have whatever kind of vertigo. And she said, it's starting in your vestibular system. And the ground zero is right here in your neck. And I knew she was telling the truth because she just showed me. She just did it. So, when I left, I had scheduled appointments and, of course, cried all the way back to Macon. I was so relieved and happy. I thought, these people know what is happening. I knew from the time she looked me in the eye, I knew I was in the right place for the help I needed. And the rest is history. I was coming twice a week, and really all we were doing was, there was a chart of dots on the wall. And all I would do is look at the dot. They would turn my head, look at this dot. They would turn my head up and down, side to side. And I would go home. I would come back. I'd look at the dots. And same thing. Well, one day I was driving up, and I could tell there were some different things happening in the car that used to be happening that weren't happening anymore. So, which was a good thing. It meant, some of that dizzy craziness was going away. So I come in and I look at Dr. Owens and I was like, something's better. My vertigo is starting to subside a little bit. It cannot be these dots. It cannot be me staring at these dots for an hour each session. And you turning my head, and Dr. Owens goes, "It's the dots. It's the dots." So it's all about recalibrating and getting the brain to recognize, I think I'm saying this right, to recognize where the normal base is. But it just takes layers and layers. You have to peel the onion, to get to the base so that it really knows what it's supposed to be doing or what's normal. 6 months into this process, and I went to get a facial. And I don't think it was quite 6 months. It was probably 3 months. I went to get a facial. Knowing everything I know about the sensitiveness of my neck and all up in here, I went to get a facial. And during the facial, the spinning started. They were using some kind of instrument. I don't know what it was. It was, can't think of the name of it, but it caused a vibration on the face and stuff. Well, it woke everything back up. And when I sat up from the table that I was lying on, a major episode of vertigo, major, just like the first one. So I sat there. It took about 2 minutes for it to calm down. And during the whole facial, I was thinking, something's not right. I don't feel right. And I could tell it was just a spatial thing inside my head. I was like, something's not right. They're waking it up. And so when I got in my car, I was crying so hard. And I called Georgia Chiropractic Neurology, and I was like, "Can I please speak to Dr. Owens?" I could hardly talk. And I told Julie, I was like, "Julie, I've gone to get a facial and I can't even function. I don't even know if I can drive home." And she talked me off the ledge, and I got home. And my next appointment, she said, I said, "Well, now I know. Now I really know that everything you're doing, everything you've told me is true." Everything they did at that facial, it just backed up everything you told me. It's all sensory. Everything in here is affecting this. And I don't know, it just all kind of came to fruition for me. And I just, once again, it just backed up my gut, knowing I was in the right place. Everything she'd done, everything she told me, well, there you go. Not complaining to be complaining, but always having to say, well, this has happened, and this is happening, and this is happening. And, for her to just sit there and listen. And the whole time, you can just see that brain going, well, I know I need to do this. I know what's going to fix that. And her wealth of knowledge is just, it's indescribable. And how she knows all the systems that are affecting this, it's beyond my comprehension. I just want to say that I don't know where I would be without her help. And everything she's done has been spot on. Being here to be able to tell my story, if you're having any of these symptoms, any of this that you can't get rid of, and people are just telling you, oh, it'll just go away, don't fall for it. Go with your gut and pursue it. And I would recommend Georgia Chiropractic Neurology, because I've just never seen anything like it. Ending up here was just an answer to prayer, really. Really.